Hi guys, I'm just going to do a real quick video after I had a coaching call with a client, and it really made me think about a couple of different things. And this one is maybe a bit of a controversial video, but I'm going to share it anyway because I think it was really helpful for me. This one is on forgiveness and the narcissist, or the whatever toxic person or relationship you were in. When you're in the middle of, or when you're freshly out of these relationships, it is really difficult to imagine that you could even be in a position to forgive them, even if you want to forgive them, because you have a spiritual practice that teaches forgiveness, and you know that to hold on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. But I'm going to talk about something that was recommended to me in 12-step recovery. And I know that this has worked for me in astounding ways in the past. And it also worked for me with regards to the personality disorder or the toxic person that I was in relationship with. And for me, it was a process. It took a lot of work. I had to do an active sort of process of forgiveness. And what happened for me is I followed my mentor's suggestion, and it's straight out of the big book of AA. And what it says in there, I'm going to read it. It says, if you have a resentment that you want to be free of, if you pray for that person that you resent, you will be free. If you ask in prayer for everything that you want for yourself to be given to them, you will be free. It says, ask for their health, prosperity, and their happiness, and you will be free. Even when you don't really want it for them, and your prayers are only words and you don't mean it, go ahead and do it anyway. Do it every day for 2 weeks, and you will find that you have come to mean it and will want it for them. And you will realize that where you used to feel bitterness, resentment, and hatred, you now feel compassion, understanding, and love. And I know that's very specific, even that it says the 2 weeks. And I had done that in the past for people that I felt like a deep resentment for. And I knew that it had set me free. When I came into 12-step recovery like 14 years ago, I had a lot of resentments. I'd been carrying that around like baggage for like 20 years. And I was able to do, the practices that are suggested in that program. And I was essentially resentment free. It didn't mean new resentments didn't occasionally crop up, but I was able to, do these specific things that were suggested. And I think even like, I've been listening to a couple of different books and about, the healing power of nature. And I know that sort of intuitively, like I know that nature has been the great healer for me. And so what I do every single day is I have a practice where I will go outside and I will just get on my knees. I will dig in the dirt in my garden. And sometimes I don't even have any plants left in there because right now I'm in the middle of moving, and I just have there's some old plants, but really most of my plants are gone. So all I was doing is just like digging in and weeding. And I just find like when I'm in nature, I am so connected to God. So, and I do a lot of climbing, but also I do it every day. Like I'll go lay in my yard in the grass. I'll look up at the avocado trees, or I will go jump in the ocean. And I find, or go on a trail run or whatever, but I find like when I'm in nature, like all I see when I'm in nature is what I refer to as God. Other people might say the universe or Mother Nature, or whatever you want to call it. But for me, it's like this incredible practice of just being in that zone. And that's where I will often say my prayers, is when I'm in nature. And if you try this, I know it's really hard if you're in the middle of trying to divorce a narcissist, or if you're just like in the middle of your pain or you're fresh out of it, it can be really difficult, but just try it and, pray for them. I now am able to sort of look at something's fundamentally shifted in me where I no longer get triggered. Or very rarely, like sometimes I'll get triggered by a new person if they're unknown to me, and my pain body gets woken up and I'm like, something's wrong here. But I don't get triggered anymore by the thoughts around like the narcissist that I was with. I just don't. Like, the thought comes in, it comes through, it passes, and I no longer get that emotional charge. It's very rare where I'm angry or I'm upset. It's just I have, like, strangely, I have a weird feeling of compassion, and there's pity in there too, and maybe even, I don't know if it's condescending pity. I think really it is, and I think it's more just like, I imagine being in like that person's head, and I imagine what like a totally awful place that must be to be in. And so it doesn't seem, it makes me sad. It makes me sad that, there's so much brokenness in the world. Like, I know we're all broken, right? And then some of us know where we're broken and we're trying to work on, or we're trying to give it over to God, or we're trying to turn it over to our higher power. Excuse me, I have these gnarly allergies right now, but I don't know if that's helpful for you, but I really was thinking about that, about how, like, just, pray for that person. And if you don't believe in like prayer or like God or whatever, that's okay. I think you can still pray and, give it to the universe or whatever, whatever blessings. You can send them blessings, like, send them, ask, the universe or God to give them peace and joy and prosperity and happiness and joy in their hearts. Because really, if all 7 billion of us on the planet had more peaceful, joyful, loving hearts towards each other, I don't think we would go around hurting each other so much, right? It's always our ego. It's our ego and our pride and our abandonment wounds and our trauma that is causing us to like bump up against other people and hurt them, right? It's because it's like our ego, and we're full of fear, and we're full of resentment, and we're full of sadness and grief. So I don't know if that's helpful for you, but that helped me a lot. And like it says, even if you don't mean it, do it anyway. So feel free to like and subscribe. And if you want private coaching, go to www.coachkat, that's KAT.org. Thanks so much. Have a good night. Bye.